Well, it definitely looks like the Chinese caught up. And then some. Hi guys, Eric here and welcome back to my channel. Today we will be having a look at this 2019 Haval H6C 2-litre turbo luxury DCT. And while it might look like any other humdrum SUV, what you're actually looking at is the beginning of a value for money revolution. Congratulations to Amui Mbao for correctly identifying the wheel of the Smart 44 from last week. Would you like to be mentioned in my next video? All you have to do is to make sure that you're subscribed to my channel and tell me what car this wheel design belongs to using the comment section below. Be sure to identify both the make and model. Let's see who knows most about cars. A really big thank you to the accommodating, thoughtful and helpful staff here at ASJ Motors. They have a huge selection of quality used cars located in 2 locations in the Overberg region. One is in the industrial area of Hermanus, the other is located on the main road of Verliesdorp. They are open for business, so be sure to check out their catalogue, link in the description box below. The H6C is a compact SUV manufactured by Chinese company Haval, the SUV arm of Great Wall Motors or GWM. Haval is a very new brand locally, being introduced only in 2017. Like almost all other Havals of the time, the H6 has a rather convoluted nomenclature. See, Haval splits its models up into 2, Blue Label and Red Label, with very similar interiors but slightly redesigned exteriors. The distinction is also found in the Haval logo being either blue or red. What is interesting here is that, as you can see, the logo of our test unit is red, but internationally this is the Blue Label. South Africa didn't receive the Red Label, which is weird. Back to the H6 Coupe at hand though. Power comes in the form of a 2-litre 4-cylinder turbo petrol engine that develops a healthy 140 kilowatts and 310 newton meters of torque. It sends power to the front wheels via a 6-speed dual-clutch transmission. One detractor from this engine is its rather thirsty nature, with a claimed combined cycle of 9.8 litres per 100 kilometers, not exactly frugal for a 4-cylinder unit. Styling-wise, there is something very simple about its design, perhaps bordering on boring. Personally, I don't really see the coupe part of the H6C. The front end looks quite similar to the H2, big grille along with relatively small headlights and bits of chrome on the bumper. In profile, there is a floating roof design and big 19-inch alloy wheels. I just find it odd that the Haval logo isn't present on the center caps. It makes the wheels look aftermarket. Maybe it's just me that will be bothered by it though. The rear has very clean lines with big rear light clusters and chrome trim found at the base of the rear windscreen. The silver faux rear diffuser adds a sporty touch to it as well and reminds me a lot of the Range Rover Evoque, but we will get back to that in a moment. Step inside the H6C and you're greeted with a very corporate, rather serious looking cabin, very unlike the modern offerings from Haval. It's important to note that even though the cabin might not let your jaw drop, that doesn't necessarily mean that it's dull. There are generous amounts of brushed silver trim, piano black plastics, and this arguably tatty looking faux carbon fiber on the center console. Fit and finish is good, if not quite class leading. Everything fits together quite well, but there are some inconsistent panel gaps. Build quality is solid though. Everything feels very well put together. Use of materials is excellent too, if you ignore this terrible scratchy plastics on the dash as well as the lower parts of the cabin, the latter of which is to be expected at this price point. The remaining materials are plush and premium. Let's take a closer look though, starting with the door panel. Well, I love it. There is such an amazing sense of premium luxury to it. This beautiful boomerang trim piece with integrated metal door handle, along with piano black plastic trim, premium feeling switches, and a well padded faux leather wrapped armrest really has a way of making you feel special. What's more, the doors feel very heavy in all the right ways, and it closes with a very satisfying thud. Now for the steering wheel. It's very interesting, if a bit overwhelming at first glance. There is quite a lot of piano black plastics along with brushed silver trim. The ergonomics could be slightly better though, as you have to reach for some of the premium feeling buttons. Neat touches include metal gear shifters as well as this H6 logo housed within its own little frame at the bottom of the wheel. Said wheel is adjustable not only for height but reach as well, making finding a comfortable driving position that much easier. The stalks feel premium to use and they are very easy to understand. Considering these are surfaces that you come into contact with frequently, I am very impressed with the tactile finesse of this Haval. Moving to the dials, they remind me quite a lot of the first generation Range Rover Evoques. Considering that this is a Chinese product, that isn't necessarily a coincidence, because over there copyright seems to be a matter of opinion. Regardless, they are very attractive, easy to read and uncluttered. You get an analog fuel and water temperature gauge as well. In between the two dials you will find a full color drives information display. It communicates a comprehensive trip computer, tire pressure monitor, outside temperature and current time. It is controlled using buttons on the left hand side of the steering wheel. The infotainment system impresses me too. In fact, the only bizarre thing is that you get two sets of shortcut buttons. One set is found on either side of the screen itself, the other is found behind the gear lever. Other than that, it is very impressive. Its graphics are crisp for its age, it is extremely responsive to my touch, and loading times are kept very short. What's more, you get an SD card slot, auxiliary port, USB input, Bluetooth audio, and a CD player as standard. The standard fit sound system packs more than a decent punch as well. The dual zone climate control panel is very well thought out as well. Two big dials control the temperature and two similarly sized buttons control the fan speed. You do have to take your eyes off the road though to make sure you hit the correct buttons, and the hazard button is a bit hidden in plain sight. The seats, much like the rest of the cabin, are really impressive. They are very comfortable and they are wrapped in a synthetic leather that, I must admit, feels a lot like the real thing. Electrically adjustable lumbar support is a great addition, and the seat side bolstering provide excellent support. The driver's seat is 8-way electrically adjustable as well. Color me impressed. With the design out of the way, let's talk practicality, starting with storage solutions. Well, it's quite impressive. The partially dampened glove box is of a big size. You get a shallow tray on top of the dash, an ashtray underneath the climate controls, two narrow if rather deep cup holders, a massive space under the multi-tiered center armrest, decently sized door pockets, coin compartments integrated into the door's grab handle, and a sunglasses holder. More than enough for the average family. Get in the back and the H6C impresses still. There are loads of knee room and enough headroom for an average size adult, even with the panoramic sunroof fitted. Footroom can be limited though when the driver's seat is at a lower setting. The rear bench can recline to a nice degree though, so there is definitely an emphasis on comfort back here. Storage wise, you get small door pockets, coin compartments integrated into the door's grab handle, storage nets behind each front seat, two cup holders found in the drop down armrest, and a covered tray area behind them. You even get rear air vents, which is a great addition for a hot climate, especially a day like today. What's more, the seats are nice and comfortable, the doors feel just as plush as those found up front, and the windows go all the way down. I just wish that the actual window size was a bit bigger and the window line lower, as it feels rather dark back here. The boot though is a disappointing size of only 247 litres. That is more than 200 litres less than the Mazda CX-5. You do get 4 tethering hooks though, a 12-volt socket and a space-saver spare wheel. The rear seats fold completely flat in a 60-40 split, and there is no resulting ridge, nor is there any load lip either. So while it might not be best in class by any means, it isn't exactly awful. Starting with driving around town, the H6C is an absolute doddle to pilot. The engine is nice and strong, the gearbox is quick to respond without hunting for gears, and the suspension is supple. The turning circle is rather wide though, and rearward visibility is quite poor. Thankfully on this luxury model you get a 360-degree camera as well as front and rear park distance control, so parking is made a little bit easier. All the controls are nice and light too, and there's a great feeling of solidity from in here. The only thing to keep in mind is that in standard and sports driving modes, the throttle response is a bit twitchy. Putting it in eco mode seems to alleviate that a bit. Out on the twisties, and the Haval continues to impress. The steering does feel quite artificial, but it is direct, which inspires some confidence, and there isn't too much body roll in the corners. In sports mode, the throttle response is almost immediate, and the gearbox is quick to drop a cog or two. There are more engaging SUVs out there, but for what it is, I really like it. It is here on the open road though, where the H6C leaves me speechless. The cabin is so well insulated from the outside world that I find myself speeding without knowing it. It's amazing how well this car can just soak up the miles. What's more, the seats are supremely comfortable and supportive, the suspension is supple, and there's just enough power to overtake swiftly should the opportunity arise. I must admit I am pleasantly surprised by the driving experience of this particular Haval. Sadly, reliability is unknown for now because the H6C isn't that old. In fact, Haval was only introduced officially in 2017. I can report that the infotainment system froze while I was filming the test drive. Make sure that it is still under its factory warranty and you shouldn't have too many issues. That being said, no car is perfect. The best you can do is lower your risk of buying a lemon, but cars are intricate pieces of machinery. Turning to its rivals, you are looking at the Kia Sportage, which has a diesel option, longer warranty and bigger boot. However, it is much more expensive. The Hyundai Tucson is very much the same story, longer warranty, a bit more practical but expensive. The Mazda CX-5 counters with an attractive exterior, an excellent interior, bigger boot and diesel options. It is much more expensive though. This is why the H6C is considered such an excellent value proposition. The one word that keeps coming to mind while I'm reviewing this car is impressive. The Haval is really surprising. Chinese offerings used to be an absolute joke, but this is quite scary. How will any other manufacturer be able to match this car's insanely good price, new or used? It seems as though Haval is starting to beat Kia and Hyundai at their own game, and considering that my channel is all about value for money, I am definitely starting to convert. Well done, Haval. Thank you so much for watching another one of my videos. If you enjoyed it, please remember to give it a thumbs up. It makes the world of difference to my channel. If you haven't already, remember to subscribe and get notified of upcoming reviews. I have loads more lined up for you guys, so stay tuned. If you have an H6C and you want to share your experiences, please use the comment section below. I would love to hear about them. I hope you guys have a fantastic day. Until next time, bye.